Hello, I'm Doug Muzzio. This is City Talk. Today, no politics, no de Blasio, no Cuomo, no Hurricane Sandy. Unfortunately, no Cano, no Mariano, no Andy. Rather, Tanaka, McCann, Ellsbury and Beltran got the call. Any Bronx games worth watching this fall? Once again, no juicers in the hall. Joining us to talk Yankees, baseball, the Steinbrenners, taxes, the fate of the game is George King III, the New York Post Yankee beat writer, here in another winter of my sports discontent. Welcome back, George.
Thank you. How are you?
Good, and apologies for the bad poetry again. Wait a second. Before we get into baseball, was New York sports ever this hopeless? I mean, you've got the Yankees, the Mets, the Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. They all stink. I mean, seriously.
You know, it's hard to say because I'm sure we could find another year somewhere.
65, maybe 66. I mean, come on.
This is probably as grim as it's been, I would imagine.
It's
I'm not a
awful.
follower of some of those sports you just mentioned, but I'm sure it's not good.
It's, you want to kill yourself. Take away my shoelaces and my belt. Okay. Before we get to the Yankees, rules changes. Two major changes, and in some sense changes really the essence of the game. One, instant replay with certain exceptions, and no home plate collisions. Let's talk your attitude, one-word reaction to instant replays.
Forget about it.
Why?
I think the game's played by humans. It should be officiated by humans.
Old school.
But, you know, I know the people sitting at home have better technology than the umpire, get a better view sometimes than the umpire, but where's it end? I mean, what's next? I just, no.
So right now, as I understand it, they would have IR for something like 90% of the plays. They wouldn't have balks, interference, balls and strikes, and the neighborhood play where the second baseman or shortstop grazes second base. How does it work? I mean, do you understand
We're gonna
how
find
it
out.
works? Because they get one challenge each, the managers, like, you know, something like football. But in baseball, it goes to New York, like the National Hockey League rather than the NFL. How long are these games going to be? 27 years?
I mean, there are some people who think this is going to speed it up instead of the manager going out and jawing with the umpires. That might speed it up.
He'll jaw with the umpires anyway.
Technology, you know, my biggest concern is where does it end?
Yeah.
Where does it stop? Is this it? Just the end of it? Or in 5 years, do they figure out how to do something else?
Well, balls and strikes.
Balls and strikes.
I mean, that gets right to the
I mean,
essence of the
this
game.
is, you know, I would just rather.
Yeah, I would think also that managers might not like it because they have to make another decision and they don't like to make decisions. So you've got that too.
We'll see who's aggressive. We'll see who's not aggressive with it. I mean, the one thing about it, there's no arguing it. So, I mean, once you challenge, you can't argue the call.
Right, right. Well, I mean, I could see, too bad he's not around, Billy Martin. I could see him kicking dirt on people.
Yeah.
You know, even then. I mean, or Earl Weaver.
We're going to find out. I think, you know, the pros, the people who are for it say it's going to be great. And the people who are against it are waiting to see what it.
Okay. The second major change, less major, is no collisions at home plate. And I got my feelings about this. Your reaction?
Terrible rule. Absolutely awful rule. I know everybody's worried about concussions, and they should be. But I would say the more concussions a catcher suffers is a foul tip off the mask than a collision at home plate. Now you're going to say, okay, did he run into him hard? Did he run into him on purpose? Did the catcher not get out of the way of a slide? It leaves far too much up for the umpires.
I hate to use sexist terminology, but there's an element of sissification about baseball these days. I mean, you can't throw at a batter to move him off the plate. You can't collide. You can't go after the second baseman because the second baseman doesn't have to touch second base. I mean, does it change the sort of the essence of the game? Taking all the contact out of the sport?
That depends how old you are.
Oh, go ahead.
You know,
You and I are on one side of the divide.
we saw it when they played for money.
Right.
To get to the postseason, you had to get money.
And it was
you had to
real
post
money. I mean,
Right. It was money.
Dusty Rhodes, the hero of the Giants in '54, worked on the tugboat.
And
Paul Ferrillo.
Now they're all in the same union,
Yeah.
and a powerful union. I think that the days that they slid into second base for $5,000 playoff check, they're over. They're gone. But you're right. You can't pitch You can't pitch inside. The umpires give you a tenth. They can read the pitcher's mind, supposedly.
Right. And it's automatic ejection.
If you're 20 years old, you don't know what it was like. So it depends, what you saw before and what you're seeing now.
Right. Okay. I don't think we touched on this last time, but we ought to do it now. Designated hitter.
That.
Go ahead.
When I was covering I covered the Phillies for 9 years, and then I went to cover the Yankees, and I thought, oh, this is not, how am I going to watch a game with 9 hitters? And it took me about a week, and I didn't miss the other thing at all.
Oh, really?
I fully support it. I think everybody should have it. I know it extends careers and gets a little bit dicey there, but I think, when you're spending the kind of money people are asked to spend to go to games, I'd rather watch a player perform than a manager think.
Excellent, because that really is the trade-off.
Yeah, that's
the strategic decision making. Okay, let's go to the Yankees. The last time we spoke was just about this time last year, just before the pitches and catches, another week. We talked about the prospects of the team. We talked about Euclid. We talked about Jeter. We talked about Cano and the general shakiness of the team. What most surprised you about the previous Yankee Stadium last season, before we get into this season, sort of as a transition to this season?
Surprise, you can't be surprised by injuries. They happen to everybody.
Right.
And, they're pretty good at not making excuses. All the way up from Steinbrenner all the way down. But you can't ignore the games and the manpower they lost to Teixeira and Jeter, Rodriguez. In '09, you could make the case that, and I know it's a while ago, but you could make the case that infield that won the World Series was one of the top infields of all time.
Absolutely, with A-Rod at third, Jeter at short, Cano in second, and Teixeira at first. That's a good team. They
missed 3/4 of that for most of last season.
Yeah.
So you can't be surprised about that. The surprise for me is that they just didn't hit. I mean, even the people that played, Ichiro didn't hit.
Nobody hit.
Granderson missed a lot of time. He didn't hit when he came back. And they really paid for the mistake of not re-signing Russell Martin.
Yes. Yeah,
through all the injuries and everything,
awful.
I think if they had re-signed Russell Martin, even as bad as they were last year, they may have snuck in the playoffs.
Okay. We focused last time a lot on Cano and being in a walk money year, that Cano, there would be this tremendous pressure. Talk about Cano leaving the Yankees, what it means to them, and what it means to Cano, let alone Seattle.
What it means to the Yankees is that they made a decision that the money that he wanted, and he wanted $300 million.
But he didn't get it at Seattle. A lot less.
They weren't going near, they weren't going to go near 300. They decided to take that money and spread it around and fill more holes. If they re-signed Cano for $250 million, there's probably no McCann.
The catcher. We'll go around the field.
It won't be McCann, Ellsbury, and Beltran, and Tanaka. Two of those guys aren't here. So they're thinking, we'll fill multiple holes with money we saved.
Okay.
Instead of just putting it in to one or two players.
Even if that one or two player was a potential
he's a top
Hall of
10,
Famer.
Top 10 player in the game.
Yeah.
Gold Glove second baseman.
Right.
He's
Joe Morgan
terrific.
Too?
Joe Morgan with more power.
Right. So we're talking Hall of Famer,
yeah.
but the logic is to get more quality ball players for the superstar.
They did.
Okay.
Okay.
Did. Let's talk about Tanaka, taxes, and the Steinbrenners. The last time we discussed this $189 million threshold and we were figuring out what the Yankees could do with it, he just blew Hal Steinbrenner, a bottom line guy, just blew the budget.
Well,
$500 million worth of contracts?
he blew a budget that was a goal.
Right.
I mean, to say the Yankees have budgets, everybody's got budgets, but the Yankees play with a bigger budget.
Right.
I mean,
and the budget happens to be a huge checkbook.
Right. So, they decided that, okay, we're going to do this now. But it had that goal had an effect on the previous 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't spend
a
whole lot of money.
No.
And cost them, I think, last year.
I think it did too.
They got Soriano and they got him, but they don't pay him much.
Right.
Vernon Wells, they didn't pay anything.
Right.
So I mean,
and
they got
those guys,
players,
yeah,
but they didn't get.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. So they spend all this money, and the last piece of the puzzle, I guess, is Tanaka, which is somewhat of a problem because the history of Japanese players and pitchers in the majors and on the Yankees is problematic. And I was looking for George King's stories on Tanaka, but you were on vacation, it looked like, in the month of January.
Yeah, I've been down.
Talk to me about. I want to hear what George King had.
People you talk to, they've seen him, spent a majority of the season watching him. They say he's a terrific pitcher. Terrific. Now, he's 24-0 over there. Does that translate here? How's it going to translate? It's New York. It's the American League East. I think this is overblown a little bit. The ball's a little bigger.
Yeah.
But he throws splits.
Yeah.
That's going to affect him. We don't know how he's going to pitch.
Right.
Nobody can tell you how he's going to pitch.
No.
He's not. They say he's not affected by things like Matsui wasn't affected by things.
Right.
They were right about Matsui.
Right.
It wasn't affected at all.
Right.
Arabu?
Collapsed.
Well, he was okay. If he
Yeah,
didn't
but
come with all the
yeah.
hype and bells and whistles. Matsui was terrific.
Yeah. Okay.
Darvish has been terrific.
Right.
Matsuzaka for 2 years was terrific.
And then not so anymore.
You know what? I think if you got to trust the people that watched him. I think he's okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's go around the diamond from 2 to 9 and then come back to the pitching staff. So we got McCann at catcher. Great improvement. Up the middle defense. More offense.
He's going to hit some home runs.
He's going to hit some home runs.
Ballpark,
Big improvement.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's walk through. First base.
It's 2 years now. He's been hurt. Teixeira's been hurt. He's got to stay on the field and he's got to produce. I mean,
he was declining in his skills before he got hurt.
I mean, A-Rod has been the focal point of the abuse and the criticism.
Right.
I think it's time for Teixeira to stay healthy and produce.
Yeah, because I mean,
it's time. I mean,
it's a zero.
And that's his mindset too. He's not running from that. He understands.
No, yeah. Still good defensive first baseman, but he may not hit.
It's time for him to stay on the field.
Okay,
and hit.
so now we have second base. I mean, the rest of the infield, the invalids. I mean, be serious. I mean, you got Teixeira and Jeter, and then who do you have at second and third? You've got possibly the worst infield in baseball.
We got Brian Roberts, who's injury forever.
Totally, and not that good to start with.
No.
So he's, excuse me,
Jeter, he's a huge question.
I mean,
we're going to see about Jeter. The people that know Jeter, you don't bet against Jeter. However, he's going to be 40.
Come on.
He's coming off a season where he played 17 games
Come
with
on.
bad legs. So the questions are legitimately there. When you get to third base, in my opinion, that should be Nunez.
Right.
That should be Nunez. They don't think he hits enough to play third.
Right. He doesn't.
But he's got a live body and a live bat.
And he can breathe.
He doesn't hit for power. They like power at third.
So the infield is basically awful.
It's got a lot of questions. I'll give you this. It's got a lot of question marks. We'll see how awful.
Oh, okay. Also, let's focus on Jeter a bit. What is it, 1935, the Yankees trade the greatest Yankee of all time, Babe Ruth? Is it time for is it time for, in one sense, the Yankees to move beyond Jeter, or they can't?
They can't and they
won't.
We're talking about
right.
The greatest Yankee since DiMaggio?
I would argue there are other great Yankees, like I would say Mantle, but go ahead.
Okay, Mantle, DiMaggio.
Okay.
We're talking
we're talking
iconic players.
Yeah, and a Hall of Famer.
The
probably.
biggest thing, I think, the biggest issue with Jeter this year, what happens if he doesn't hit? Does Girardi have the guts to drop him in the lineup? Will he sub Brandon Ryan Brendan Ryan for defense late innings.
The late innings, because his defense,
He's
he
gonna
was,
have to
he
give-
was always basically a mediocre shortstop, and now he's got no range.
The range is going to be worth watching, but he's going to have to use Brendan Ryan's defense for one of the three spots, third, short, and second. He can't defense for all of them.
I'm getting depressed. Let's go to the outfield where it's less depressing. Let's start with right field. We've got Carlos Beltran.
Right.
Good addition.
Switch hitting, professional player, above average hitter. He's been through it. He's played here.
Older though, again.
Older, but that's free agency.
Yeah.
You live with it, you die by it. And when you live with it, they hit and they produce and they pitch and everything's great. When they get hurt, well, they're 36, 37, 38 years old by the time they, most guys get to the free agency in the mid-30s. So, I think he'll be all right.
Old and broken down. No, go ahead. And then we have center field. We stole one from the Red Sox.
Yeah, that's going to prove this. I'm a little intrigued by that.
Go ahead.
I don't think they upgraded much over Brett Gardner.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a huge upgrade. And they admit that Brett Gardner is close to being Ellsbury, the difference being about $150 million now.
Right.
And it's their money. I mean, people who scream and yell about the Yankees spending money, the Yankees don't tell you how to spend your money. Don't tell them how to spend it.
Good advice. Okay.
But
So-
I think that you got to wait on Ellsbury. Let's see how he plays.
Okay. But offensively, an improvement over Gardner, not necessarily in the field, but certainly at the plate, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He's a better hitter.
Right.
But again,
He had one season.
the
Really.
gap is not.
Okay. And then you've got Gardner and left. I mean,
I'll be interested there for a couple of
because he
reasons.
doesn't hit no power.
Power, you got, see, you could go without power because you had Cano hitting 30.
Right.
So he made up for a couple sins.
Right.
The things to watch with Gardner, he was going to be the leadoff hitter and the center fielder on the Yankees going into his free agent walk year.
Right.
He's now the number 9 hitter and playing left field.
Right.
The appeal.
Market value
Now you
is
can say,
fun.
well, it's only 1 year and this, that, and the other thing, but it's a big mental adjustment, I think.
Starting lineup. What's the starting lineup?
Ellsbury will hit 1.
Yeah.
Jeter will hit 2. Then you can play with it.
Right.
Gardner's going to hit 9th.
Right.
Brian
So
Roberts is probably going to hit 8th.
Right.
Nunez, no,
Seventh.
it might not
Sixth.
be. It might not be.
Okay, so you got Beltran, Teixeira, and Ellsbury and McCann. So 3, 4,
And
5, and
Soriano.
6. And Soriano. But where does Soriano? Oh, DH. Okay.
So, I mean, 1 and 2 are set. Now you got Teixeira, Soriano, McCann, Beltran, 3 through 6.
Soriano third, Beltran
do it any way you
fourth,
want.
Teixeira fifth or sixth, and Ellsbury fifth. Okay, we've got that. So why
Well,
don't they
Ellsbury's
talk?
leading off.
What I mean,
Ellsbury's leading off.
yeah. Who's left? Somebody.
Well, then the third baseman.
Yeah, the third baseman.
The second
whoever the middle of the infield. Okay, it's October of 2014. Yankees, what do they got to do to get in?
My point is, are they better than they were a month ago? Are they better than they were in October? The answer is yes.
Right.
Are they good enough to win the American League East?
I'm asking you.
Today, I say no.
Why?
Pitching,
Okay, talk about pitching. We didn't get there yet.
it's a game dominated by pitching, and there are question marks.
Up and down.
1 through 5.
Right.
1
Sabathia,
through
you don't
5.
know. Tanaka, you don't know. Nova, you don't really know.
Do you trust Nova?
No. And then Robertson, is he the closer?
Yes.
He's the closest.
When I say pitching, I mean starting
Front line,
rotation
1 through 5.
and the people who get the game to Robertson. I think Robertson's going to be fine.
Okay.
The problem in the bullpen is replacing Robertson, what he did.
As the setup to Mariano.
Sean Kelly's got a chance, but when I look at it, the pitching is not
Who wins? Boston again?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, better team. Okay.
Better team, better pitching.
One of the organizational failures of the Yankees, and we had talked about a bit about this before, is the chronic lack of major league ready baseball players in the minor league system. And you almost have to go this free agent route. Are there any homegrown players in the minors? I mean, how many homegrown do they have now? Gardner's 1.
Robertson's 2.
Robertson's 2.
Nova.
Okay, and that's 3. It's not.
Cervelli's going to be the backup catcher. That's 4.
Yeah, that's not the core 4, but not too many people coming through the system. Are there any?
No big, there's no star. Their system went dry as far as, high-end people at the worst possible time.
Right.
Trout, Other teams have Bryce Harper.
Right.
The Cardinals are loaded with home.
Right.
So
And Tampa Bay in the Nationals
then last
too.
year,
Come on.
yeah, last year when they needed help, it wasn't there from the minor league system.
At
And
all.
their players, their better players, are still a couple years away from being ready to play, not to
So
dominate.
who's closest in your mind in terms of the minors?
Gary Sanchez,
Okay.
and he's not ready.
No, they're not ready.
not ready.
Okay. Let's go to real quick. A-Rod. What's the deal with this guy?
Flip a coin. Which one we talking about?
I know. I mean, I mean, one of the best players of his time, and he totally
One of the best players ever.
right, and he blows it. Best shortstop ever. Why? What is the story? And now, what's the game he's playing? I mean, he's ticked off everybody. And if he comes back after suing the players union, there's going to be a lot of pitches that are going to slip out of pitchers' hands at his head.
It's whatever draw you want to get into, he's in it right now. There's, go ahead. He's like, take your shots at him. I'm sure he hopes he's going to play. I don't know about a federal judge getting involved in this.
No, they're not.
Binding arbitration.
No, no.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So he's finished for this season.
Finished for this year.
At least.
At least.
At least. So one of the, I mean, talking about self-destructive tendencies, it's just astounding.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame it came to that.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a
Yeah,
shame
because he was so good. Him and Bonds were the two best.
Terrific player, smart.
Yeah.
Baseball smart.
Yeah. And smart.
Enjoys the game, enjoys talking about the
Works
game.
hard.
Works as diligently as anybody. And then this is the way, well, it's not going to end this way because he's not retiring. But, a whole year off at their age.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You lose the will to compete. You don't know what competing
Okay.
is.
Hall of Fame. Last time we talked a bit about juices in the hall, and it just so happened it was right around the time that the votes were in, but they hadn't been counted. There was nobody voted in 2013. In 2014, I guess you had Maddox, Glavine, and Thomas, and Biggio missed it by what?
2 votes?
2 votes. 74.8% out of 75%. You voted in both of those elections.
Right.
In 2014, the most recent, I don't know if you discussed, some sports writers discussed.
No, we published it. We published it in the paper.
Oh, you did. So who did you?
I voted for 10 for the first time.
You voted for you
We
for full ballot.
We can vote 10, and usually it's, well, it depends, but it's 4 or 5.
Okay, since it's public, tell us. Who did you vote for?
I always voted for Palmeiro,
You did vote for him.
Bonds, McGuire. I vote for Clemens.
Oh man!
And here's
You're
the
the juice's delight.
Well, here's the reason.
Go
I'll give it
ahead.
to you.
McGuire though.
You can argue McGuire on his. You can argue McGuire that he doesn't belong in there on his baseball stats.
Yep.
Here's my theory.
Go ahead.
Bonds, Palmeiro, home run hitters, right? Tell me how many of those home runs were hit off clean pitchers.
Oh.
Clemens.
Yeah, I know. Please.
How many of those strikeouts were against dirty players? You can't separate it. It's an error that happened. They say they're doing the best they can to eliminate it. I don't think that's ever going to happen. Look, we just
Ooh, that's interesting.
13 people without a failed drug test.
Right.
I just look at it as a whole error. The sad thing about it, in my opinion, Rafael Palmeiro is one of 4 people with 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. He's off the ballot. All of a sudden, this guy doesn't exist.
Right.
He's not a great
Yeah,
player.
that was shocking that he wasn't even on the ballot.
The ballots are ballots.
Right.
You can do what you want with it. I don't argue or get upset about somebody else's ballot.
Right.
The fact that he's off the ballot.
Yeah, that's a problem.
He was a terrific player.
Oh, absolutely.
Terrific player. So,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to say, okay, I'll vote for Palmeiro but not Bonds, or Bonds but not,
Right.
I voted for Piazza and Biggio.
Well, I mean,
and Frank Thomas.
But Piazza has never been formally charged in any way. I mean, come on, outside of 2 catchers, maybe Johnny Bench and maybe somebody else, Piazza's the best. Not a great defensive catcher, but certainly the best offensive catcher. He was screwed, and getting 74.8%, he's got to get it in next time. No,
You would think.
you would think the second time on the ballot.
Terrific catcher, hitting catcher.
That's interesting that you voted for all of them. What about Sosa? He wasn't on the ballot, though, was he? Sosa?
Oh, yeah.
He was on the ballot? He doesn't deserve it, though, does he?
Well, yeah.
You do?
You think about the player. He got again. I'm
Yeah.
eliminating.
You're eliminating the steroids.
But you know.
And corked bats.
You know,
You're eliminating all the cheating.
well, where we stop? Splitters, spitballs, cut balls. I mean,
I know.
Where do
I
we-
know.
where do we start
I grew up with Wadey Ford, so we understand that you can use wedding rings and sandpaper,
Right, exactly.
and how many people throw spitballs. Your life over 12 months. I mean, you're just coming off of probably your only break. I mean, you work
It's
from
extended break. Yeah.
yeah, you work from
Well, we're going-
February 10th to Christmas.
Yeah.
And also, one of the things that struck me from reading your stories for the last year was it's not only what's between the lines. The old sports page was what was between the lines. Now the sports writing is everything, the financial, the social, all of that stuff. So talk about spring training. I've never been there. We've got a minute. Just talk about the glories of spring training so I feel bad.
Well, you're going to be shoveling snow, and I'll have suntan block on.
That's not nice. I mean, in the
it.
fact that you live in my town, we live together, that, lots of snow.
I hope there's a lot of it February 12th, 13th, and 14th.
You're miserable. That's ridiculous that you want
It's
snow.
a very relaxing time. For a person in my industry, it's a time to get to know the players. There's no pressure. Nobody's lost. Nobody's got a job taken away. It's a relaxing time. I enjoy it. Not everybody in my business enjoys it. I enjoy it.
Why don't they enjoy it?
I don't know. You hear people gripe about it, and they gripe and I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't go around.
Didn't need to
I
gripe.
don't go around waving pom poms. Spring training's here, and this year they're going to throw in a trip to Panama probably too to honor Rivera.
Oh,
So
interesting.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, a little junket for you, huh?
Yeah.
Traveling. Get to you?
Talk to me in September.
Yeah,
You know,
you're tired.
after
But at
a
least
while.
it's not basketball. At least you have a homestand. You're there
We'll
for
go-
a couple of
yeah, no,
days.
travel, it's what it is. It's part of the, it's like your bus ride. It's part of the deal,
Don't start me with the bus ride, because
could-
that's another whole show.
You could drive.
What? Yeah, and no,
No, that's
no,
not it.
forget it. Okay, let's get back to this right here. October. Who's in the World Series? Stick your neck out.
World Series in October.
Yeah,
Detroit against the Cardinals.
and Detroit finally wins.
No.
Cardinals win.
Yes.
Okay.
You got to bracket that. Verlander's got to be healthy.
Okay. Yankees. Just talk to me. Just something.
They're in the pennant race.
They're in the pennant race.
I mean, you could. Would you describe pennant race last year? It never felt like a
Nah,
pennant race.
nah.
This
nah.
year, I think it'll feel more like a pennant race. But with that pitching, I don't know.
You're going to have to come back. I'm telling you, in July, we might, need to have our razor blades, shoelaces, and belts taken away from us. Do you ever get that way?
No.
So you
Just not Pequannock girls basketball. That's
oh, please don't start. Thanks to George King for being on the show and for his insight and analysis, preparing us for first the boys of spring and then the boys of summer and the fate of the game. Join us next week here on CUNY TV. Excellent. Hello, I'm Doug Muzzio. Let us know what you think about this show. You can reach us at CUNY.TV. When you get there, click on the bar that says Contact Us and send your email. Whatever it is. Thanks, no thanks, obnoxious, do it. Send it.